trombone belongs to Curtis Fuller, who has moved in and is on his way out of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I found him at the end of the gig, and he is gracious to take time in the small hours. Curtis Fuller, good to have you there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, there's a memory bluesette, your composition, and then there's one by Jean Toots Tillman.
Right.
Well, tell me, this wonderful quintet that you, with Al Harewood and Jimmy Garrison, Tommy Flanagan, Benny Golson, you put that together way back when?
Oh, I think that was in the 50s. You know, Benny Golson and I, the guy had asked me, Joe Tremini at the Five Spot, to put a group together because Thelonius Monk couldn't get a police car to work the Five Spot.
Yes.
And he thought it would take a couple of weeks or maybe a month. So he hired me to be the house band there until Monk could get straightened out with the card.
Yes.
And Benny Golson was just leaving Art Blakey, so it had to be about 57 or something like that. Anyway, we got the gig in there, and we stayed a whole year, better than a year. And from that, Al Harewood played down there. We went through a lot of different players, you know. But Tommy was a home-style guy for me. We had played together a few years at home in Detroit with Kenny Burrell and Yusuf and all that, and Pepper Adams. So it was just natural that I would use Tommy. In fact, we lived in the same building down the street from Train, and Coltrane, that is. And the group, I always liked Al Harewood, and he worked with J.J. Johnson and Kai Wendy. And I just put that together from that, you know, and the guys I wanted, and those are the guys I used.
And going back to that home base, Detroit, alive with fine musicians.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Through the years. Did you go to, there was a great teacher there whose name is beginning to slip me at this odd hour, who taught a lot of students at the high school, the technical high school.
Oh, Cass Tech. No, I didn't go there. I went to Northwestern.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I knew with Donald Byrd, everybody went over there. Mostly everybody, you know.
Yes.
But I was on the other side of town.
And I guess it was Professor Byrne over there that, whose son Bobby Byrne also, too, was a band leader.
Right, that's right.
Oh, my. And then you mentioned Kenny Burrell and
Kenny Burrell and his brother Billy Burrell and Hugh Lawson. Detroit was teaming Barry Harris and Elvin Jones and the McKinney brothers, Harold McKinney, Ray McKinney, Keani Sawadi, who was Bernard McKinney, Abe Woodley. There was a bunch of them. And when I was growing up, Milt Jackson was still there, and then there was a bunch of people there, you know. And
history.
It's history. Miles Davis had moved to Detroit. Lester Young was around there. Wardell Gray was around there. Then Frank Foster moved to Detroit, and Joe Henderson and I were schoolmates at Wayne University, you know, so we teamed up together, you know. So it's a very wonderful place to grow up.
What, to this day, there's
Pepper Adams, my man.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Bone and Berry. We had the group in high school, Bone and Berry.
Uh-huh.
So,
describe that adventure at that time for you, Bone and Berry, what that was all about.
It was tremendous because we had somewhat of the same voice, you know, baritone sax and trombone. Actually, I could just change the clef and play the same music, make the sharps natural, and so he didn't have to do a whole lot of rewrite, you know. He was playing a lot of he was tight with Thad Jones and Elvin. They were good friends. And Pepper was already in. He was older than I am, but he was closer to them than I was. And I was just coming out of service and things when I met Pepper, you know. And I was going, when I went into service, he was getting out of high school, I think, you know.
Was that World War II?
No, I'm not that old. No. Mine was the Korean War.
Yes. Well, I'm a World War II person.
Yeah, well, I came out. I was in the Army band with Cannonball, the last Black Army band. Cannonball and Junior Mance and Matt Adderley and a bunch of people. Slide Hampton's brother, Maceo, you know. I was in that band in Fort Knox, Kentucky, the end of an era.
Oh, indeed.
And for 1955, so I'm a little behind that.
Well, today it's 2004.
That's right.
And your reference and feeling about the music of the day and the work you're trying to accomplish. You might just touch on that.
Well, I've been touched by many of the young players who have been in my company for studying and stuff. Steve Davis, and I knew Steve Torrey when Art Blakey sent him to me. I mean, to just go over some things with him. We were close in the beginning, and I am really impressed by the young players today. Well, they were good players when I was growing up too. And I think everybody's a good player. Just has to find their niche, and it comes out,
I suppose it really is a combination of the academic side and then what I call the rolling street academies, the travel.
Right. And then you have to have a little luck on your side too. Things have to doors open. But you have to perpetuate the opening of a door. You have to be the place at the right time, do the right thing, play the right thing, say the right thing. And it all depends on so many little things being coordinated, or just preordained. Maybe it just happens that way. I never figured that one out.
For you, you must have a certain kind of discipline that has kept you focused and riding through the business of music.
Well, music became my family. I grew up in a Jesuit orphanage, and I had no parents. My father came from Jamaica, and my mother was from Atlanta, Georgia. But anybody connected to me, I knew nothing about. Family scattered, though, such as it was. What was here and what was there, I don't know. But I had to make my way in life more or less on my own. And music, Ellington used to say, it's his mistress. Well, it was my family. I depended on that for the guys I met as like brothers and the lodge together, the musical lodge. And it's been so important to me, brothers and sisters, whoever I met, women too, that played, and it's all been so encompassing for me because there's things I needed, I got, and that nurtured my soul and my professional ability, came from that.
Curtis Fuller, thank you for taking us into your life.
Thank you so much for having me.
What a pleasure to meet you, and I hope we can do this again in the future.
I hope so, too.
And
Thank you so much.
I know that the staff and the audience at the Artists Quarter really found it a privilege to have you there.
Well, thank you. It was a privilege to be there. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Travel safe.
Thank you. Will.